welcome back. Well, technical difficulties, but we're back. Episode
What's up?
53.
What's up, shitbags? Brennan, they're not gonna know about that. I'm gonna have that edited
All right.
out. Come
All
on,
right.
come on,
I don't know.
lock
Hey,
in.
you know, locked in. I'm locked in.
Welcome back, everybody. Episode 53, second one of the new year. I was so excited. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Huge thank you to our sponsors again this year. Maintaining everybody is awesome. We got Crew First Culture, Jobtown Graphics, Taylor's Tins, Toxic Suppression. Just wouldn't be here without those guys and everyone helping us out, and wouldn't be here without you guys. And we are excited for this guest because holy shit, you guys are too. So that's gonna be awesome. And I think that means that we just got to go right to it. We just got to cut right to it. None of our blabbing anymore. And let's just bring John right in here since everyone's so excited to hear from him. John,
what's going on?
Hey, John.
What is happening, fellas?
Oh, nothing
Not
much. How are you?
Man, I'm fantastic. I'm honored to be here. Honestly,
Awesome.
like truly, it is. I'm not just saying that. So thank you guys for having me on.
We're honored to have you on.
Hope you like flaming dumpster fires. So everybody loves going to those.
That's our favorite
SLG to go over to.
Me too. Yeah.
John, why don't you go ahead and give a quick introduction about yourself?
Okay. Yeah. So I am currently the captain on Rescue 1 out of Wichita, Kansas. So it's at Station 4. It's housed with an engine company also that I spent 4 years on, almost 5 years as a lieutenant. So, dude, when I came on the fire department, green as the day is long. Didn't know anything about it. I'm 100% one of those guys that when 9/11 happened, like, I was like, I got to do something, right? Like, I got to join the fire department, police department, go to the military. I got to do something. I can't just sit idly by, So I worked for my dad's construction company. I was up on a roof, like roofing a garage or something, I think. I came on a little bit later. I was 26 when I got on the job. So, but I was roofing this garage. I remember watching this fire truck drive by, and I just watched it. I've always been enamored by fire trucks and firemen and stuff like that. But when I saw this truck, I was just like, man, I wonder if I'm the type of guy that could go do something like that. I was like, probably not. It's probably full of like Paul Bunyans and like super solid dudes. Like, there's no way, I could ever do that. And it was my wife, actually, at my current wife. Is that how you say that? That was a thing a while back. Did you see that? It was like, current wife. I'm like, your current wife? Like, what? No, it was my wife at the time. She's like, hey, I don't want you to be 40 years old, look back on your life and say, oh, I wish I would have done that. And we had no money, nothing like that. And so, like, literally living in a 1-bedroom studio apartment. And I was trying to like figure out how I could like get my EMT. So I started taking my EMT from this dude, chief that was on the job, and he taught it at night. So I could work during the day and then go do my EMT at night. So I was doing that, and I'll never forget that when I was trying to run, but I didn't have a gym membership, so we didn't have any money. So I was like trying to run downtown. There was the chief that was teaching my EMT class would always be walking his dog, and every time he'd see me, he said, "They're not going to hire you. That's not good enough." Never stopped, just relentless on me. But anyway, long story short, I won't go into all of it. I did get hired. It took me 2 interviews, and I got hired on. Started out on the east side of Wichita. And I've had so many good people like that I've been surrounded by. Had a fantastic 35-year captain that kind of took me under his wing, started telling me a little bit about the rescue and what rescue life was about. And then at the time, we weren't really running truck companies. We had APs, and they were cross-staffed with squads. And our squads, I don't know how you guys run squads out there, but they're not rescue squads. They're just like a little 2-man truck, like a little taxi transport that goes back and forth to fires and goes to kind of all the, smaller stuff or whatever. They go to big ones. But anyway, at the time it was cross-staffed with an AP, which is the aerial platform. And they were like, hey, we're going to implement truck companies. Like, we're going to start this new truck company thing. And so we think you'd be good with it, good for it since you've done construction and all this. So, dude, I went and I rode Truck 3 for 10 years. So awesome. I had the best freaking crew. We just had an absolute blast the whole time I was there. Fell in love with truck company work. I didn't think I was going to like it. The cool thing about when you start implementing something new like that is we were cutting holes in everything. even things we probably shouldn't have cut holes in. And I can say that now because it's, it was a long time ago, but like we just didn't know what we didn't know. So we're figuring this thing out. Had some great dudes that knew a lot about truck company operations, and so they kind of brought us up. But one of the big things that they wanted us to implement was parking the truck in the front of the fire, right? So because why is that? Because it has all the ladders, it has equipment, it has all the things that you're going to need to get up quickly to the fire. So I'll never forget this. It was a senior pump engineer, and he came up and said, "Hey man, you want the front of the house?" And I was like, "Yeah, it would be nice." He's like, "Then effing get here first," and he just walked off. So you have to understand, like, it was an uphill battle. Like, you know what I mean? Like being on the cutting edge of this thing was an uphill battle because it didn't like come easily. Like, guys, like, what a truck company? This is ridiculous, And then about 2 or 3 months later, we had a fire with that same firehouse, and that same guy came up to me and he's like, "Hey, I guess if you're gonna cut a hole, that's where I would have cut it." And he like walked off, and that was like his way of being like, "Okay, like maybe this is a thing. Like maybe this is a thing, right?" So once you start getting all that smoke and all that nasty stuff off the guys when they're inside, they start being like, "Okay, all right, maybe there's something to this." So anyway, I'm rambling a little bit. So
we love it.
Good.
After being on the truck, I tried out for special operations, made the team. It was a pretty rigorous time back then trying out. You had to do a swim test, and you had to do a bunch of different stuff. You had to go through a bunch of high angle stuff and confined space, and they basically just had a testing process. You go through this testing process, and then they interview you, and I got accepted, but I didn't get brought over for like 5 more years after that. So I had to wait, because there was just no openings. Like it's not Station 4 here on Rescue 1 does not have like a huge turnover. Like a lot of guys, when you get there, like you just stay. And I know why now, because like I'm never leaving, But finally got asked to come over. Spent some time on Rescue 1 as a firefighter. Again, had a pretty cool crew over there. Had some good dudes I worked with. Took the promotional test, made lieutenant. Second guessed everything. I was like, why did I do this? This was terrible. Like, I should have never. But then I ended up going to a truck company, and I had some super good dudes there. And I'm not just saying this. Like, I don't know if the good Lord just blessed me throughout my career, but I've just had some really good guys I've been surrounded by. And so then they asked me to come back, and I rode engine 4. And you got to realize, dude, when I got there, I was like, hey, let me tell you guys something. I spent 10 years on a truck. I got promoted. And when I say spent 10 years on a truck, I rarely ever rode the engine. I was on the truck all the time. And so getting over to it now, I'm an engine boss, right? So I'm like, guess what we're going to do, fellas? We're going to learn together. So they were taking me out every day, and we were pumping, and we were, stretching line and doing all kinds of stuff. And it was almost like I had been reborn, and I'm like doing this whole thing over again. You know what I mean? So because when I got over to the rescue, we rode the engine some, but I rode the rescue the most, So I went from truck company operations to rescue operations, and I'm just not a big engine guy. I just never have been, even though that's who we are as a fire department, right? Like that's if you ask any little kids or anything, like, well, we want to stretch the hose, like that's their thing, right? So, and then my current captain, Nico McBee, who I'm telling you right now, if there was any way you could ever interview a dude that is the most salty fire officer, he'll probably never come on here, but if you could get him on here, dude, it would be awesome. He's a super good dude. Best captain I've I've worked for some really good captains, and he is the dude that seriously like set me straight. I'll tell this real quick story now, and here's why. Here's why he is such a solid dude. So I got promoted lieutenant, and they told me, I got a phone call, said, hey, you're going back to Station 4. You're going to ride Engine 4 on C shift. And I'm like, yeah, dude, are you kidding me? I can't wait. I'm going to call Nico. I didn't know Nico. I called him. No, he called me. I'm sorry. He called me. And he's like, hey, it's Nico McBee. I was like, oh, Cap, I can't wait to work for you. I'm so excited. He's like, yeah, hey, cool. I just want to let you know I'm going to do everything I can to stop you from coming to Station 4. And I was like, he goes, not because I don't like you. It's because I don't know you. And you're not the guy that I selected to come over here. We had 3 other guys in mind in front of you, and you're just not the guy. So, and you know what? As soon as he called me and told me that, I was like, oh, I am the guy. Like, and you are the guy I want to work for, right? Because instead of going behind my back, instead of talking about me, instead of saying, I don't want this dude, he picked the phone up, called me, was like, hey man, I don't want you to come over here.
Yeah.
But if you, it's such a small little thing, right? Like that's a little thing. But how big is that, right? What do we do in the fire department? We are just, bro, we can trash talk and just, and so instead of making me out to be a bad guy and then be like, here's why all the reasons we don't want him because he's terrible. He's like, hey man, I just don't know you, you know? Yeah. And in my mind, I was like, you're right. You don't know me. I'm your guy. Like, I'm your guy, dude. You know,
you're gonna know me.
I ended up the deputy chief of operations was like, no, I'm not changing it. You're getting them. And so I went over there. And so it was very hostile. You know, I go into a hostile work environment as a lieutenant, dealing with some really crazy stuff. And I probably won't go into all the details of this stuff that we dealt with. But Nico ended up being awesome. And I worked there for 4 years, and he got bumped up to act as captain or chief, as a battalion chief. And so I sat as an acting captain on Rescue 1 for a year, which is kind of weird, right? Because you wouldn't normally put an acting captain in that position. And then when it was time for me to go get my station and Nico to come back, and this is a recent occurrence, he was like, you know what, Jarvis is doing a good job. Like, we're going to leave you there. And he took a different station. And I'm telling you what, that does not happen. Like, that is not a thing. Matter of fact, in my 19 years in the fire department, me personally, now some other guys probably have other stories, but I can't think of a time when a guy got promoted from lieutenant to captain and then was able to stay in the same firehouse with the same crew. Like, that's not, really cool. You know, and I don't mean that as like, oh, look at me. I mean that is now the pressure. Now I just feel like an immense amount of pressure to fill some boots that I am just in my mind not capable of filling. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, and you said a short about me. So that's up to where we're at now. And I'm now the captain at Station 4. And so we go to all the fires on the kind of the south and west side of the city. We respond to all special operations stuff, you know, structural collapse, confined space, anything like that, pin ins. I mean, all kinds of different stuff. So we have a large, 12 different disciplines that I'm responsible for my guys. And then just an absolutely dynamic crew of individuals. And I hope through some of your questions, I can kind of let you know who some of these dudes are, because they're just absolutely. I wouldn't be where I'm at right now without these guys. So that's the truth, you know. So you mentioned it, like, you don't know if it's just the fire gods or whatever that stuck you with good crews, but I hope our guests haven't been getting oversaturated with Wichita, because that's the thing, is we can't get enough of you guys. I mean, every time we've gone out there, we've been there for Into the Job, now for Wichita High, knowing Hattie, knowing Isaiah, you know, Sam, all those guys that we've gotten to meet and ride along with and hang out. Like, everyone has been amazing. Everyone is into the job there that we have met, and that's cool. Wants to be the best firefighter they can, and doesn't and love sharing it is the best part. Like, we've just shown up. I mean, when we went and rode along, it was like Zaya was the only one that we really knew going into it. And Hattie that was there. But I mean, it was like we show up and everyone was like, hey, you want to check out the rescue? Hey, you want to see the tender? We were like checking out the tender. Like, and those guys were on C shift too. So we actually cross train with those guys all the time. We just had ice. So we had ice rescue training with them. And you know what? That's another thing that's not really, most rescue companies do not get along. You know, I mean, we're not. It's like, hey, you stay on your side of the city. We'll stay on our side of the city. Don't come over here. I don't want to see you creeping in my area. Like, you know. So, but we do have. Don't get me wrong. We have that friendly competition. That's super healthy. Has to be there. But when it's time to go to work and it's time to do things, those are 100% some guys that we will rely on, and they've got a great crew over there. So. Good dudes. Lots of good dudes.
Well, we did get some questions sent in for you. You know, that's what we always ask for. We say in
if
here.
If it's people I know, I can't wait. Can't wait for this.
Well, the first one comes with some pronunciation that I have to do. So the first one is from Mr. Tim Riggs, and he says, "Are you selling your Yeep?"
My Yeep. Yeah, Lord, dude. Yeah. That's got a funny story about a Jeep Wrangler that I had that I bought.
No, it says specifically Yeep.
No, it's Yeep. Yeah. Do you want me to tell this real quick? I can probably do it fast.
Go for it.
A Jeep Wrangler And the guys were like, oh, that's probably a Katrina Jeep. And I'm like, a Katrina Jeep? Like, what do you mean Katrina? They're like, like it probably came out of New Orleans. It was in the Katrina storm. That's why you got such a good deal on it. And I remember driving down the road one day, and my wife is with me, and out of the top of the thing, these Mardi Gras beads fall out of my truck. And I'm like, where these Mardi Gras beads come from? And my wife starts laughing. She thinks it's the funniest thing. And I was like, what are you laughing at? I was like, oh my God, it's a Katrina Jeep. Like, they were right, So now I don't want to say I'm gullible, but hey, maybe a little, So turns out she was in on the whole thing. And but the Jeep thing came later when I tried to sell the Jeep. There was a guy at Station 11. He's my lieutenant now that you mentioned. I'm so glad you brought this up because I can't wait to take this back tomorrow. He does a great Hispanic accent. And so he called me on the phone. He's like, hey, man, I want to buy your Jeep. And I'm like, you want to buy my Jeep? Like, I'm going to put some curb feelers on it. He started doing this whole thing. And he would not stop calling me. And I was like, dude, you're not buying my Jeep, So finally, a Hispanic dude did call that was going to buy my Jeep that wasn't prank calling me. And I was like, don't call this phone anymore. Hung up on him, And it turns out, the guys at the station, like, who was that? And I was like, some dude keeps calling trying to buy my Jeep. Well, we're all on shift, So they're like, oh, hey, maybe you better call that dude back. I was like, no, I'm done with him. He's been prank calling me, Turns out, no, a guy actually did buy my Jeep. But those guys were messing with me. And I almost crashed the whole thing. There's more to the story. When I met with this dude, I made him give me his keys to his car and all this stuff because I was like, I don't trust you, man. And he had nothing to do with it. He's just like, well, what's the problem?
That's awesome.
It is. That's
Firehouse. Yeah, nothing better.
That's funny.
Just nonstop, dude. So yeah.
And then the last question we got sent in is a two-parter from our mutual friend JD. He says, how do you say so handsome, and what is your real name?
Oh, bro, my real name. Okay, fire department stuff, right?
Yeah.
I've been a redhead my whole life. I heard every name in the book till I walked foot into a firehouse and realized it's a whole new book. There's a new book. I have many, many names, but I'm not kidding you. I legitimately do. But Don Larvis is probably the one that stuck the most. So people call me Don Dito and Don Larvis. That came from this dude, Jason Ayala, that was my senior firefighter at Station 9 when I was over there. Just a solid workout dude, and he would always just come up with all these crazy names and nonstop rag on me. I was a rookie for, I'm not kidding you, 8 years. Got rookie. They called me Senior Rook. That's what I was, Senior Rook. So it was kind of a funny thing, but yeah. But I got a bunch of other ones. But listen, I heard the last one you said you're gonna try and keep this PG. I'm gonna try and keep myself PG because I can't name half of the names, But my kids are probably gonna listen to this, so
we'll watch it.
Keep it nice, yeah.
Going into our actual questions that we got from you, mentioned it earlier in your bio, so we get really excited to kind of dive a little more into it. Spending a decade on Truck 3, how did that shape your identity as a firefighter?
Oh man, like I said before when I came on, I didn't really know anything about the fire department. I didn't know what a Siamese was, which we don't even know if we use Siamese anymore. I don't think we do. A gated Y, a Halligan, anything like that.
Ours just collects dust in the cabinet, so.
Right, yeah. We try to throw that stuff out when we get rid of it, and it just ends up stacking up in the back room. But when I first got on the truck, I had a guy come over. He's a chief now on the job, and he kind of came over and he spent 2 weeks with us. So we didn't have our actual officer there. He just kind of spent 2 weeks with us and took us out every single day training. And I remember the one day, and I was kind of pissed about it, just how much training we were doing and how much information was just constantly coming in all the freaking time. And I was just like, dude, this is almost overwhelming. And I kind of worked with some guys before that they didn't want to not train. They trained, you know what I mean? But they didn't train to this level. And just seeing his passion for the job and how important he thought it was that we get down the basics of all of these different things. Dude, when I came on, throwing a 24-foot ladder was a 2-person job. Mm-hmm. One guy would walk out, shoulder, you put it on their shoulder. Now it is the expectation that you will throw a 24-foot extension by yourself. It's the expectation of me, if you're on my rescue, that you will throw a 28-foot extension by yourself. And that's the difference between 24 and 28 is huge. Like, I don't know if you know, but like the width, you know, I mean, it's just harder, right?
It is.
It's and you wouldn't think that it would be. But anyway, that just kind of started developing a little bit of, like, okay, this is a pretty serious thing. And like, there was some guys on the job that I wanted to be like. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And I kind of started molding myself after those people and watching what they did. But I never could quite do the things that they could do. You know what I mean? And so, and that ended up being a bad thing, actually, like setting my standard to somebody else's accomplishments. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
And at the time, I thought to myself, and this kind of does go with the truck 3 thing, because there was a guy, we had Matt Bowen, who was just like a legendary fireman in my eyes on the fire department, Wichita Fire, still a chief here, but he was the lieutenant and the captain, and he was a truck company guy, and he had J.R. Weber and some super good dudes on the other shift that he worked with that were just solid firemen. And I was like, you know, if I could just be like those guys, then maybe people would respect me. Does that make sense? If I could just get to the level. And so I would get out and I would throw ladders and I would do stuff even when my guys weren't doing stuff, just because if I ever had the chance to work with them, I wanted to impress them. I really wanted to impress them, you know?
Yeah.
But it never really happened because they didn't care. They just wanted to be good firemen. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It wasn't about like, if I could be. And so I don't know if I'm explaining this good enough. So now, we're kind of brought up like that, right? Like, if you guys play sports at all when you're growing up, like your biggest thing. I played, you know, highly competitive basketball in high school, played for AAU teams and stuff. And the only thing you ever want to do is you go find the number one team and you're going to beat that team. Like, right? That's what we do. Who's the best player? I'm going to be better than him and we're going to be fine. But what happens when you reach that pinnacle? Like, right? So now I've beat this team. So now I'm the team that everybody else is chasing. So I kind of came up with this thing, and I've done this like just since I've been an officer. By the way, I'm full of super cheesy cliches. So I can't help it. It just is who I am. I can't, but it's like, hey, just be the best version of yourself. Push yourself a little bit farther, right? So that was kind of the mentality I started to get into. It's like, I'm going to be a little bit better. This dude, here it is. Here's a cliche right here. I'm going to be a little bit better today than I was yesterday. I'm going to be a little bit better tomorrow than I was today. How do I do that? How do I make myself better every single day? Because here's the thing, dude. Now I'm not chasing somebody else's achievement. I'm not chasing somebody else's accomplishment. Now I'm just being the best version of myself. And to me, that means the sky is the limit. I can be as good as I want to be. Like, how good can I be? I don't know. How many reps can I do? I know I can do one more, right? So let's say we work out and we're like, okay, we're going to work out for 30 minutes straight. Like, I'm not even answering this question. I'm going to back up because I'm going to stop. I'm going to stop myself. I'm not even answering this question now. We're going way off. So anyway, so seeing all of these dudes that were good firemen, and then me kind of trying to chase after them and their achievements, right? And then realizing I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never going to be that guy. I'm never going to reach this guy's level of respect. It's never going to be that. I'm just going to be the best version of myself I can. And I'm going to push myself as hard as I possibly can. I remember in recruit class, I'd never done anything like that before. The only thing I ever did before the fire department was work construction for my dad. And I'm gonna tell you right now, like, I love my dad. He's a good dude, but my dad could chew your ass out like you would not believe, right? And if the bone wasn't sticking out, or you weren't laying on your deathbed, you will be at work. Like, that's how it was, right? And so, and I work, but it gave me such a hard work ethic. Right. But when I came on the job and they're like, hey, man, you got 24 hours of sick leave. I'm like, sick leave? Like, I can call in sick and be at home and get paid? And they're like, yes, don't come to work sick. You know, it was just very strange for me, you know. But so having that type of a father, like, growing up, like, there was nothing that somebody on the fire ground or the fire department could do to me that would make me feel like, I didn't have my butt chewed out before. Like, you freaking kidding me? Like, that's how this is going to be, you know? And so, I lost myself when I was trying to get my point I was getting to there, but
I totally understand that. Yeah.
But you know, so that kind of gave me this work ethic. And so then when I finally stopped trying to be like somebody else and just be the best person I could be, like, that's when I started realizing, oh, this is actually a thing. Like, and I'm actually getting pretty good at this. Like, I'm actually getting pretty efficient at throwing these ladders. I feel very comfortable on a roof, you know.
Yeah.
Lance Diffenbaugh was my officer on truck 3, and he's like, God dang, Jarvis, you've been on more roofs than Santa Claus. Like, that was that he would throw out for a long time, you know, and he was just a funny guy. So anyway, I don't know if that answers that question very well or not.
Yes, it did.
Maybe a little bit. So
going into another part that you talked about that you had some kind of great influence in, let alone just the truck company stuff. What were some challenges that you faced rebuilding the department dive team?
Oh my gosh, bro. You want me to talk about the ones I dealt with last shift, or you want me to talk about
fire hose?
So my captain, when I was a firefighter, when I was a captain, I was a firefighter, and I had a captain that was really big into dive stuff. And he was just like, man, we really got to review this dive team. Let's go. We went to a class in Colorado. Me, my captain, Winton, and Sean Hayes, one of my best friends in the fire department, just a solid individual. Those two guys are actually our dive instructors now. So, and they had to go through a pretty rigorous thing to become dive instructors. So before that, we just basically had, and don't take any of this like what the guys did before weren't doing a great job. They did a fantastic job. They did. And so when people say you rebuilt something, it makes it sound like the thing that you were rebuilding was bad. Dude, the solid groundwork that was there was awesome. And the captains that were at Station 4 before me are like legendary dudes that I have so much respect for. Yeah. So I'm not saying what they were doing. It's just as we progress forward in the fire service, and the fire service moves forward and everything moves forward, it's like you can't look down the street without seeing what tell me in your area, what are 90% of the billboards? Lawyers, right? Law offices.
I was gonna say ads. It seems like all of ours are ads for the billboard. It's like there's so many fucking billboards that just say, "Hey, put an ad here." It's like, what the fuck?
Well, we got lawyers all over the place. Like, you know, call all these law numbers, and they have all this stuff. So now it's just like everybody is just out looking for a reason to get rich or whatever, you know. So we went and took this class out in Colorado. And it was basically a swift water dive, water operations officers responsibility class. And it was super in depth and super deep. And I came back, I honestly was like, I don't know if I want to have anything to do with this. Like, we have so much responsibility, right? Like, when we're on the fire ground and we're doing stuff, for the most part, we are doing everything that we do as a team. Right. I mean, everything is together. We're staying together. We're working together. We're on search. You know, we don't do the mama duck, baby duck by any means, but I do want you to stay within earshot or at least close to, you know, I need to know where you're at. So we're on the same, we can find each other. Yeah. When you're diving in black water, which I don't know if you're familiar, you guys divers at all?
Yeah, I'm a diver.
Yeah. So, you know, black water is, you just can't see. You can't see your hand in front of your face. You're just down there by yourself. Like, there's nobody down there with you. Right. So there was just a lot of things that we were pretty much just open water divers, like certified through like NAUI. That's what we were. Like, I didn't have any kind of like certifications for diving in public safety. So didn't know anything about it. Right. I did have the knowledge of how to do all these search patterns and all this stuff. And I did have the knowledge of, I knew how to put the dry suit on. I knew how to wear a full face mask. We have comms. We have the nicest stuff, but no actual formal training on any of it. And so when Winton came in, he's like, hey man, we got to redo this thing. Like, we got to rebuild this whole thing from the ground up. And man, dude, it makes the hair on the back of my neck raise up just thinking about it, because it was so much fun. It was so awesome. Like, we were super regimented. Like, we all wore suits the first day that we were teaching the first dive class. And everybody's like, what is happening in here? Like, why are these dudes, like, why are you wearing a suit? Like, that's so stupid. But the whole thought process is what? Professionalism. Like, we are going to be on a whole different level of professionalism. You know what I mean? And we did. We're like, hey, you're going to have your left elbow up on the pool deck, and you're all going to be facing this way, and your arm's going to be down. Everything was extremely regimented. You know what I mean? It was like every single time that you come and you set your dive gear up, you're going to set it up just this particular special way. You're going to do it. I mean, much like I think the smoke divers do stuff like that. And, you know, the Navy SEALs have done stuff like that. And why reinvent the wheel? Why come up with something else? Let's do this thing that works and just show, like, And then these guys start building like this discipline. But also, dude, that's how you build like a new culture, right? So now we're like building a culture because we're building this thing. These guys went through this hard thing together, and it's like a proven fact, I think, scientifically. You do hard things together, you start to grow together. Yes, you suffer together. And now you're like, oh, we did this thing, right? And so when I started seeing, like, you could just do, one of my favorite things used to be when YouTube first came out, me and Jason Kerfoot, who's now one of our recruit instructor, the head recruit instructor, we would watch YouTube, and they had these clips of People Are Awesome. Are you familiar with this at all? Probably not. A little bit. People Are Awesome. And what it was just people doing amazing things, right? And I would watch it, and then I would just see the look on the individual's face when he did this thing that he didn't know he could do, right? You're just like, oh, I just did this thing. Like, I can't believe I did it, and just the excitement that dude felt. And you're just thinking about, and usually it was like an extreme sport or something like that, right? But it was because of all of the hours and the hundreds of hours of training. And how many times did they fail? Like, I'm not a skateboarder, but have you ever seen how many times a skateboarder fails before he actually accomplishes like a kickflip? Like thousands of times of failure before they get it right. You know what I'm saying? So like all these little things start clicking for me as like an officer, and I'm just like, oh, okay, you need to be able to fail. You need to be able to make mistakes. You need to be able to. But how is the environment typically on the fire department? Like, if you fail, you make a mistake.
People are scared to get shit on.
Boom, dude, that's it right there. Oh my gosh, 100%. And a little bit of that should be there, right? There should be a little bit of razzing.
It should be fun though. It shouldn't be like,
should be fun.
You're a shitbag.
Not like, God, dang, I freaking knew it. Like, why is this dude? When I first saw your thing, I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, I saw it. I was like, don't be a shitbag. And I was like, I don't know. Do I agree with that? Let me think about that. And I was like, yeah, I know 100%. I do. I know exactly what you're talking about. And then I was like, man, my guys call each other shitbag all the time. Like, wait a second. And then your newest podcast that you had on where you're explaining what it means. And you're like, that's why I call you that. And I was like, okay, these dudes are on the level. I got it. But anyway, so it's just been a very difficult uphill battle doing the dive, rebuilding this dive team. But I think we're finally getting it to a level, man, where it really feels like it's something. It really feels like we've done something. You know what I mean? But man, I'm kind of known as like a positive dude, but I'm going to tell you right now, I leave my station so many times with my head against my steering wheel. I feel like I'm beating my head against a brick wall. It is just so hard. You can read all these books. You can go to all the classes. You can read all the leadership books. You can listen to podcasts. But man, the application of it at the station level and on the fire ground level and the emergency scene is so much more difficult than you ever sounds like in a book. You know what I mean? And I think that's why training and drilling is so important. And that's what I really tried to get the guys out to the pool. I mean, I tried so hard. We probably have like 2 a days at the station. And I'm sure that at some point guys are going to get sick of it, but I've been in it 19 years and I'm not sick of it yet. So, it's just, to me, it's too important. The people we serve, the things that we do, it's too important to not be the very best at it. And when I say the best, I don't mean, I'm not trying to be better than somebody else. I don't even know what other dive teams are really doing. And I probably should know what other dive teams are doing. I need to look into that a little bit more, but I just want to continually keep raising the bar a little bit more. That way, when I leave here, I can look back, because you know what, dude, when we leave the fire department, you know what's going to happen? The fire trucks are still going to go out. Yeah, they're going to replace me, but they're not replacing me right now. So while I'm here, I want to make the biggest impact and the best impact I can for as long as I possibly can. Like, that's just my mentality. And I don't know, if we don't get into on these other questions, I'm going to throw some other things out there on why I think that's important. But anyway, I don't know if that answered questions for the dive stuff or not, but
absolutely.
For sure.
Next, what else can I ramble on for you?
Well, I think this fits right into what you're talking about a little bit. So if you could change one thing in today's fire service, what would it be?
How do I put this? What we were talking about a second ago, and the unnecessary trash talk on people. and the egos that guys come in. For some reason, the fire department seems to attract people that have an ego that is just almost unbreakable sometimes. You know, I don't understand it. And then when they come out and they teach and they try to show other people stuff, and these other people can't meet their expectation, they almost just write them off. You know what I mean? And it's really a sad thing too. We were teaching a class in Parsons, Kansas. Something I forgot to put on my bio that I'm kind of kicking myself for is I'm also kind of an instructor for the Nelms Fire Company. I don't know if you're familiar with the Nelms at all. Trey Nelms and Chunk Nelms and those guys out of Nashville, Tennessee. Great group of guys. But I do some stuff with them, and a couple times a year we go out and we teach. And I'm not really a circuit guy. I don't go to a bunch of conferences or anything like that. If I had time to tell you the story behind why these guys are such good friends with me, there was just a time in my career when I wrecked a fire truck, not into another car, all by itself. Driving truck 3, dislocated the ladder from its seat, smashed down the cab, knocked the windshield out of the truck. It was terrible. I wanted to quit the fire department. Like, I thought, if I can't drive, we were in an area that I had never been in before, and we just hit a big dip that I didn't know was there, you know. But I'm not going to say that it wasn't my fault, because it was. Because I was driving, you know. Anyway, I was just in a point in my career where I really just was kind of feeling like, man, maybe I'm not what I thought I was, you know. Maybe I shouldn't be here. And I met Trey at Wichita Hot, because I've been on the board there for 10 years, I think. And they came out, and we just developed a great relationship. And I just kind of realized, you know, I never really had the brotherhood thing. You know, guys always go, brother, you know, brother this, brother that. I almost made fun of it. I was almost got, okay, what's up, brother? You know, but now, like, these dudes are my brothers. Like, they feel like family. The guys at my station are like my brothers. They feel like family. And so being around those guys kind of is what got me to where I'm at. What was the question that you asked me? Because I'm losing my train of thought here. I'm sorry.
It was the change one thing in today's fire service. You talk about the banter,
So anyway, so those guys kind of took me under their wing a little bit, and not those guys, but more Chief Nelms, Trey did, and I just remember there was so much trash talk that went on in the fire stations, even the good ones, even the ones that I worked at. You know what I mean? And there were so many times when I wanted to ask a question and I didn't. Oh, I know what it was. Okay. God dang, I was about to lost train of thought. I was teaching with the Nelms in Parsons, and this girl came up. She was like, hey, I got a question, but I don't want anybody to know about it. And I was like, okay, yeah, shoot, what? She's like, no, really, we got to go over here. And I was like, okay. So I'd come over. I was like, Chunk, come over here with me, because, you know, as a female, I want to make sure that everything is. I was like, come over here. So Chunk comes over. She's like, hey, it's halfway through the day. She's like, you got, and we were about to do live burns in the afternoon. She's like, you guys have been talking about the difference between a fog nozzle and a straight stream. What's a straight stream? And I was like, and Chunk's like, lady, you being serious right now? And she's like, and I looked, I said, yeah, she is. She's being dead serious. And we're about to change this entire class right now. You know what I mean? Because she didn't know. And I said, hey, where are you from? I started asking her some questions. She said, hey, they gave me a set of bunker gear and told me to come to this class. Like, that's it. Like, she's from rural, nowhere, Kansas, and that was their fire. And I was like, okay, then we're going to show you everything that you need to know that are the main basics. I was like, here's the difference. And we just went through it. But like, it was the fact that she was so afraid to ask that question, because she could see the way that you see the expression on people's faces, and they laugh and they do whatever. And so, and don't get me wrong, I work with my entire crew of guys will talk so much trash on each other. It is unbelievable.
It's a firehouse thing, I think.
but not when we're training.
Yeah.
Not when we're training. And I don't want to say that was me, but that was me, because I'm 100% want to create an environment where guys feel comfortable failing and making mistakes, but also they want to correct those mistakes. So instead of making that mistake and then just doing because you know what the immediate thing is anger, right? You get pissed because you're mad at yourself, and then somebody makes fun of you. Now you're mad at that guy, and now all of a sudden we're having an argument, and the whole failure thing got overlooked by this whole other thing that was going on, right? So now we have drama. So I was just kind of like, guys, I really want to create an environment where you guys can be yourselves. You can fail over and over again, and we're going to figure out how to overcome the failure, and we're going to get better. Like, that's my mentality. Like, that's the mentality with my firehouse. I want my firehouse to feel that way. I want the guys at my firehouse to to feel that way. And dude, I'm telling you, like, it is a thing that works. Like, it does work, you know.
Yeah.
And now I have these guys for the last 4 years, and we've been training this way. But and here's something I didn't foresee happening that has happened. If you make your training hard enough, and you do enough repetitions, and you're doing this over and over and over again, you know what happens to your people? They get really good. And then they surpass you, right? And now they've all clearly surpassed me. Like, they are solid individual firemen, every single one of them, and so dynamic in every way.
Mm-hmm.
And so then I had to start being like, okay, I got to come up with better training. Like, what am I going to do? Like, so now we still do the basics, but that's kind of more on them. And I set up scenario-based training now. So we have scenario-based stuff, and I will take them out to the drill grounds, or I'll set something up, and I will make it hard. Like, it is not easy. It is hard for them, to where they're in there dropping mother effers, and this is epic impossible, and just cussing. And we were doing this RIT drill just the other day in the bunk room, and we had blacked it out, and all the guys were blacked out. And then I put my mask on, and I blacked myself out. And you know what? Immediately I felt that feeling of uncomfortable. I'm like, I don't like this. Like, I can't feel anything. And Connor was one of my guys. He was like, hey, do you want me to carry the RIT bag, or do you want to carry it? I said, I'll carry it, because I want you to do all the work. So, and the drill was, we're going to go in, and we're going to hook this guy up to the RIT bag. We're going to take his mask off because it's compromised, put a new one on. And then we were going to realize that he was pinned in there. So we had to get the SAR cart and bring hoses in and hook him in. And we're going to do the whole thing blacked out. And I tell you what, dude, it was super hard. It was super difficult. There was mother effers being dropped, and guys getting pissed, and you could banging around. And, you know, I never said like the words, hey man, calm down or take it easy. I was just like, hey brother, we're not leaving until we get it. And he's like, I know. I know. You know, I know we're not. Let me go. And so I just let him go, but we got it. And, you know, you get out of there, you're sweaty, you're hot, you're frustrated, but you can see the smiles and you can see the look of accomplishment. And they're like, hey, we did this thing. Like, we did this thing, you know? And then they're like, hey man, I think we need to change A, B, and C on the mask, because I could not get that on his face. Because we're not doing the whole little thing where I'm like, okay, sir, you sit here right in front of me. I'm going to pull your mask off, and then you're going to put it on. That isn't how it's going to be. Like, when was the last time you were in a house fire when there wasn't just crap everywhere? And, you know, it's not. So you got to make this stuff as realistic as possible, you know? And make it hard. Make it hard. And I don't know how else to say that. You know, you have to challenge yourself and push yourself. Like, you have to do it. So
I think
anyway.
a big thing, like, kind of going back to where you started with it, and even going back to one of the first things we were talking about with your captain giving you that call that, like, they want you out there, is that shit talking. Like, we talk about the double meaning with shitbag. Like, you talk about your crews give each other shit. When it was Brennan and I, our crew together, oh yeah, we were shit, but it was never behind their backs. And I think that's where, that's where today's fire service is missed. You see you said you like the cliches, but you see the thing of sit at the tables where they talk at ideas instead of other people. And it's like, that's what I have now tried to maintain, is because it's so easy. Everyone, you know, you get in, you know, you're off for us. Like, we have our 4 days. Now we're on the 4896, but we had our 4 days with our early one. So you get off a 4 day, you come in, and all of a sudden, one person heard about something. Well, we were gone for 4 days. And the first thing at the table, once everyone sits down, is, hey, you hear about what so-and-so did? And it's like, you know, I don't care. You know, did they address it on shift? Did they correct it? Did they work on it? Great. And then what I started doing is, like, and it was something JD was big on, is talk to that person. You know, you hear something, hey, you hear what so-and-so did? Be like,
yes.
No, but I'm going to ask them. And, you know, shoot him a text or something. I mean, we got phones right now. It's so easy. It's like, hey, you know what happened? That person. Yeah. Call this is what it did. Oh, great. So it's only half the story. That makes sense. Like, it's
who was
just,
I
I feel like
to? Andrew Johnston, who was with Corley Moore. He did the Work of Search book. Super great guy. He actually does some stuff with us with the Nelms. He's actually running a fire conference down there in Parsons. But Johnston he's very technical. Like, he gets deep in the weeds with stuff. And he was talking about this right here and how we like drama. Like, because it incites, it's our egos that like it. I'm going to mess this up, so I'm going to paraphrase it, right? But it's like, because if this dude, that maybe he's a good fireman, but he did something he shouldn't have done, and it made him look bad. And inside, there's a small piece of just like, yeah, I'm better than that guy. I'm better than him, right? Instead of, God, dude, that makes us all look bad. Let me text this dude real quick or whatever. I have some chiefs that are pretty good friends of mine, and when you get to that level, you're kind of on an island. When you get to the level of captain, you're on an island. I mean, you kind of are, and they get some trash talked on them, some. And there's been a couple times when I've had to say, "Hey, fellas, that dude's a friend of mine, and I know for a fact that the thing you're saying about him right now is not true, and I'm going to shut that down." And you know what? The guys are usually like, "Okay." And I'm going to say, and if I ever hear something about you like that I know it's not true, and you're not in the room, I'm going to do the same thing. So here's the thing. Guys always say they'll do it, but if you never hear them do it, will they really do it? You know what I'm saying? They're always saying they'll do it, but I'm like, when was the last time you did that for a guy? And I get it. It's hard because you don't want to tie yourself to people because you know what we all are, dude? We're all freaking flawed. We all make mistakes. We all do things we shouldn't do. We all say things we shouldn't say. And here's where I'm at with something, dude. You're going to get a million chances with me. Like you are. Like you have an opportunity to change. You just might not get that chance around me or on my crew. If you do something that's unethical, or you do something that is messes up the reputation of your crew, or you do something that's not have integrity involved with it, like, or illegal, bro, I'm out. Like, I can't help you. Yes, I'm your friend, but if you do any of those things, like, you're out. Like, you can't be here because we have a standard that we're holding here. And that standard is ultimate service to the people that we serve. Like it really, really is. And that's something that I haven't gone into much on here, but I'm going to tell you what, everything behind me that drives me is I love people. Like I truly love people. I love the people we make calls on. I love the crackheads that we go out and see. I get down on their level. They stink. It's sucky. It's not fun. And I look them right in the eye and I show them, hey man, you're human just like me. And we were both born. We were both going this way. And there was never a time when you're like, I can't wait till I'm cracked out on the street. Wichita, Kansas has no life. Like nobody ever said that, right? So at some point, this dude went this way and I went this way or whatever. And the good Lord decided to let me be a fireman and called me to it. And he called you guys to it too. You know what I mean? And so we have a responsibility to uphold this thing that we were called to and take care of these people. And if you're not doing that, you're not probably going to be around me for very long, but I'm going to give you a few chances. I'm going to give you a few chances for sure, because I've changed in my career, and I've become better than I was before, and hopefully I'll continue to become better. And when I stop, man, I'll go do something else, so I'm ranting here,
Oh, you're good.
That's awesome. That was great.
Anyway,
What we are at now is we're going to jump ahead to the final two questions that we have. So
48 minutes, dude. What?
Hey, what did we tell you in the beginning?
That's
what we like. It's what we like. It's what we strive for.
Fellas.
It is what we are. It is what we are most proud of with this podcast. We think everyone is extremely comfortable and they come on it and we can talk about whatever path takes it. So all we got to do is now jump ahead to our closing questions. So
you guys have done great. I was nervous to come on here, and you know what? Let me say I was nervous because when you put yourself out there, like I want to represent well. I want to represent my guys well. Absolutely. I want to represent my department well. I want my family to be proud of me. Like those are the things that I want. It's not, I don't care what people think that much, but I do care what people think about the people that are surrounded by me. Yes. Like I don't want you to think less of those people, So that's kind of what keeps me on the straight and narrow, I think. So anyway.
Absolutely. So our question from our previous guest, who is Mark Alone, for you is, what are you doing every day to put the department on the path you think it should go?
I think kind of like we talked before about creating that environment where guys can be comfortable, but also creating a culture of positivity where guys like come to work because they want to be there because it feels good to be there, right? They're not going to come into an environment where they're just going to come like they walk in. God, dude, let me tell this real fast.
Absolutely.
I walked in. I had this dude at my station, and for a month, I walk in. I'm like, "Good morning." He's like, "F you," and I'm like, I wish I could really tell the story the way I tell it at the firehouse because every morning, F you, and to the point, dude, where like the 5th or 6th shift, like. I got to work and I sat in my truck and I was like, if he says F you one more time, like, you know what I mean? Right?
Yeah. I think we all had that guy.
He was having fun. He was just having a good time. but I'm getting pissed. Like now I'm not showing up happy anymore. Now I'm mad. Like I'm like, oh. So I got in there. Good morning, but now it's not like good morning. It's like good morning, How the hell would you know what kind of morning it is? And I'm just like, oh God, this guy, By the end of the month, I'll never forget this. Like he was up on the top of the engine and I'm walking in. Can't let him tell him the story. And I'm like, I looked at him and I was like, good morning, and he's like, F you. And I was like, I wish you would just fall off that truck and die. He's like, oh, I can't believe you would say that to me, Jarvis. And he runs to the chief's office, tells the chief, and boo, the firefighter Jarvis to the chief's office, and I go in there and say, did you wish ill will upon, firefighter Ayala? And I'm like, are you freaking kidding me? This guy right here has freaking been talking trash on me. And he's laughing, the chief's laughing, and I'm just completely pissed, right? And so, and the story is so great. It is great. But here's the thing. Not everybody learns from stories like that. Some people get seriously messed up. And they're just like, F this place, F all you people. And they just show up. And now, dude, we've created this monster where he shows up. He's not very engaged in training. He's kind of complacent. He's frustrated all the time, right? Mm-hmm. And then he takes that back home. Now he's frustrated at home. And I'm not saying it's our fault. It's just saying that I don't want that to happen to my fire department. Mm-hmm. We're better than that. So what am I doing every day? I am trying to still be that guy that walks in the morning, every morning. Good morning. How are you this morning? How was your day off? And creating, and here's the thing. This is so important. So important. And I'm talking to the officers right now. You have to create a real personal relationship with your people. A personal relationship. Get to know them on a personal basis and let them know how much you actually care about them. I'm telling you right now, I want my guys to be successful at home. I want them to be successful financially. I want them to be good husbands and fathers and friends like that. I want my guys to be not just the best on the fire department, because that is the place where we get messed up. We think that if we could just make ourselves good firemen, then everything else that we do in life doesn't matter. But I'm telling you right now, if you can be a good family man, a good friend, a good husband, a good father, you will make a fantastic fireman. You will, because now you have something that pushes you. You know what I'm saying? So I start cultivating those relationships early on with my people in hopes that they will do the same thing with somebody else. And now what have we done, dude? Now we have changed the way that we approach the fire service. We've changed the culture. And that's what I try to do every single day to change my fire department. And dude, sometimes it works. And I'm going to tell you right now, let me tell you something along the way that happens. And this is real. There are going to be people that hate your guts because it's just you. Mm-hmm. It's just you. Mm-hmm. What is that show? Is it Step Brothers? Where he's like, it's your face. I just hate it.
Yeah. Step Brothers.
I just want to punch you in it. There are people that feel that way about me. And it's not because I've ever wronged them or done anything wrong to them. It's just there's something about being bubbly and positive that just drives some people nuts. And guess what? I get it. I get it. I get it. And that's okay. You know what I mean? It's okay. Like, here's the thing. As long as you keep pushing yourself. Like, I can't let Jarvis be better than me because that bubbly little positive whatever. But I'm going to make sure and get out, and we're going to get our crew, and we're going to train. I'm like, hey, man, it still worked. It still worked, right? Mm-hmm. So, I don't know. That's just me.
It's just the thing. Anytime I have the opportunity to and I mean, this podcast has been amazing because that's exactly what we aim it for. And I've heard it from people at the tech and people we run into, which is awesome. But anytime we get the chance to talk to somebody, especially within their first year when they're that proby, it's the advice I offer is don't let anyone take away your passion for this job. Because it's going to be, you're going to hear that first fire you go on, it's going to be, oh, hey, your red rocket showing. Oh, hey, you think this is this is so cool, huh? I bet you're so excited to be here. I'll just wait until you're on, 4, 5, 6, and you're going to, it's like,
dude, that happens. This job changes you.
Yeah. Changes you. This is not flipping burgers at McDonald's. The civilians, they benefit when I like going to work. And I don't understand. Everyone says this is the best job in the world, and I truly believe it. And I don't understand why you would ever go to work mad. I mean, you get built-in breaks. You get the best. You get time off with your family. You get to do some cool shit. You get so what? You got to scrub some toilets.
You got to come to Station 4 sometime. You got to next time you're in Wichita, please come by, because you walk in that firehouse and there's this huge freaking tool chest just full of it is every fireman's dream. Any tool that you want, because everybody at that station has their own tool. And it's like I walk in and I see this truck and I look at Rescue 1 and I'm just like, what? How did I get here? You know what I mean? And is there a more honorable profession than going and trying to save somebody else's life. And especially in a house fire, dude, when it just gets all freaking sticky, icky in there and hot, and you're just getting it. Like, there's nothing better. Like, let's go do it right now. Like, let's get after it. You know, it's just, there's not a better thing. We could have went down so many other paths here. But
absolutely.
Anyway.
Well, the last question is the hardest one that we told you about. You got to come up with one for our next guest. So our next guest is Garrett Crotty. And if you got a question for him, we'll throw it up for him. The live fire layout engineer, just all around good dude, been highly recommended.
So I kind of do have one. And here's why, because when I first started on an engine, I had a hard time. Engine 4 is very busy, like anywhere from 15 to 30 calls a shift, you know, and that's busy. Like, so anytime you get out, you try to stretch a bunch of hose off or whatever, you can't go off track every single day. So my question would be, do you have like a 3-minute drill or a 5-minute drill that covers multiple disciplines on your engine? And if you do, what is it? You know, like, I would love to hear. We need more stuff like that we could just do. You pull up, here's the thing that you do. You know, we had one that we did that was very similar when I was on the engine that I kind of came up with. It was like, you had to catch a hydrant, you had to start flowing a line, and you had to set your deck gun and start flowing your deck gun. And so and all of these things had to happen. So you know which one, I don't care what you do first, but you got to do all of these things. And then, you know, as they got better at that, you have to catch a hydrant on the driver's side, and you can only do it, you know, and just start making it complicated, but always flowing multiple different things so that you're having to figure your pressures and you're having to watch things. And so anyway, that would be my question for Garrett. Like, I would actually love to know a drill, because like today's podcast, we talked about all this stuff, but we didn't talk about any types of actual drills that we do or anything like that, which is fine. That's completely fine. Yeah. You know, I don't mind, but anyway, that's awesome. It. That's my question.
I got it down and we'll ask them. So the last part here that we call this is just the kitchen table, which is basically our wrap up. So if there's anything that you wanted to expand on a little bit that you didn't get to, any shout outs you want to do, the rest of the time is just yours.
Don't ever stop pushing yourself. Keep pushing yourself every single day. Push yourself to your limit and then push yourself beyond it. You know what I mean? Who was the boxer? Float like a butterfly, sting like a bee guy.
Muhammad Ali.
Muhammad Ali. Thank you. One time Muhammad Ali was being interviewed and asked him how many push-ups he could do. And he was like, I don't know. I just go till I can't do anymore. You know what I mean? And I was like, I don't know if that's even true or not, because I read it on the internet, but
it must be true then.
It must be true. But the thought behind it for me
Abe Lincoln said.
Yeah, Abe Lincoln said it on the internet. Just don't ever stop pushing yourself, and don't set limits on what you're capable of doing. You know, don't set a limit on yourself, because, dude, I'm telling you right now, if you would have told me when I first came on the job that I'd be the captain of Rescue 1 in Wichita, working with some of the best firemen in the entire country on one of the most aggressive fire departments in the country, I would have said, you are a psycho. There's no way that will ever happen. But I'm telling you what, man, if you get after it every day, if you train hard, if you do some of the stuff that we talked about today, if you listen to podcasts, go to classes, dude, if you don't got a lot of money, then just go to there's conferences all over this country. Go to the one that's closest to you, within 100 miles of your fire station. Find a conference, and here's the thing that you will find about going to those conferences: they are happy that you are there. They love to see you. You know, read all the books, force all the doors, sound all the floors. Like, just get after it every day. I'm telling you, dude, this is the best job in the world. Like, I'm pumped right now being on this podcast. I'm gonna go to work tomorrow. My guys are gonna ask me how I did. I'm gonna say terrible, and they're gonna say, no, you didn't. You know. But man, I'm telling you, that's where I'm at. And just create that environment where guys feel comfortable training, and be where, and as Deion Sanders said, be where your feet are at. When you're at the fire station, be at the fire station. Be all in. Don't be distracted. When you're at home, be all in. Take care of your cat if that's all you got. Whatever. If you got kids and a wife, take care of them. You know, I love that saying, be where your feet are at. I think it's super good. So.
Absolutely.
That's all I got, fellas. I really appreciate you guys having me on here.
We appreciate you coming on, dude. That was awesome. Yeah.
So,
thank you so much for coming on, John. Thank you, as always, everybody, for listening. And as always, don't be a shitbag.
Yeah, thanks for coming on, taking the time. Don't be a shitbag.
Absolutely.